Hello everyone. It is Jackie from Pocket of Preschool, and I am so excited for you guys to join me tonight because guess what we are talking about tonight? Turkey activities. Do you like my shirt? I love having like themed shirts for the classroom for different holidays. It just kind of makes it extra fun, and then also, you get to wear the comfy t-shirt all day. So tonight we are talking all about turkey activities you can do in your classroom to make learning fun, engaging, and hands-on with your kiddos. I'm going to share all the things: art, sensory, everything. Art, sensory, math, fine motor, all of it. So at the top are links to all the things. There are links to my blog and with all the turkey activities, links to my TBT store where you can find any printables that I show you tonight. So tons of things. All the links are at the top if you need them. So without further ado, we're just gonna go ahead and dive right in. Oh, I forgot to ask you, do you guys I'm always curious, who does like a turkey theme or who does a Thanksgiving theme? And then tell me if you do turkey or Thanksgiving, and then also tell me what your favorite or your student's favorite turkey activity is that you do with them in the classroom or Thanksgiving. So tell me all the things in the comments. So one thing that I think is so fun, and you guys know I love to do them for every holiday, not every theme, but a lot of the holidays, are sensory bottles. So this one is the turkey sensory bottle. The full directions, like detailed directions, are on the blog. It's like literally just like a brown glittery sensory bottle. So it like slowly falls. So there's clear glue, glitter, and water inside. And then these are just foam and just some googly eyes. And then I just taped some feathers to the top. And then I always put tape around the top. If they pick, because some kids just like to pick at the glue, because I always glue the lids on. That way they pick at the tape, and then I can fix it up. So turkey sensory bottle is so fun. Oh, and there's brown liquid watercolor in here too. So fun. Okay, so that is the fun sensory bottle. If you want to make a keepsake for your kiddos, for families, this turkey towel is so much fun. Again, all the directions are on the blog. So it's like the handprint turkey just on a towel, and I just put a ribbon just on it to kind of make it look a little fancy. And it's just on one of they're called like bar towels, and I just get them from Walmart. And then how cute is that? And then every year they can pull it out and they can see how little they once were. I'm typically not a handprint craft or handprint art kind of teacher, but sometimes you just gotta make keepsakes for the families because they're only little once. And I know as a mom, like I bring this out every year and I completely treasure it. So sometimes you just gotta make some keepsakes because it will remind them of preschool when they get older, and just a fun keepsake for the family. So fun. And so some years I have my kids 2 years in a row. So if they did like a turkey towel with me the one year, the next year I would just have them do like a different fall handprint, like maybe an acorn or like a pumpkin handprint. And then somebody asked, are these towels washable? And yeah, you just throw them. So this is like that acrylic permanent paint, which is like that 50-cent tubes at Walmart or like Michael's. And yeah, you just throw it in the washer and you are good to go. It doesn't come off on anything as long as you just use that acrylic paint. So, alrighty. So that is the turkey towel, one of my favorite things. And then we got our fun sensory bottle. And then now, books. I found some fun books that I wanted to share with you guys. This is a fun nonfiction book. It's Animals on the Farm, and it's just all about turkeys. So it's a really great, super simple picture nonfiction. I just got it off Amazon. And I don't have a science unit on turkeys, but if you're doing turkeys, which are colors. And you'll see all my feather colorful turkey activities in a minute. But you can do at the science table, you can either learn about colors, do like a color study, and color mixing, which is really fun. Or, that's a turkey in the background, by the way. It's not like around my head. Hold on, let me turn it a little bit. I don't want anybody to think it's like around me. It kind of looks funny on my head, sorry. So you can do a color study at the sensory table or at the science table. Or you could always just do, you could put the, like being a scientist unit and just put some feathers there in this book, and they can like measure and explore the feathers. You could put like a little stuffed turkey out there and just some like Google image search, some pictures of turkeys. So you could do either or, but I know a lot of teachers typically when they do Thanksgiving or turkeys, because a lot of it's colors, the colored feathers, they do the color study, my All About Colors at the science table. So that's a fun one. And then this one is my favorite, and if you don't have it, there are like YouTube videos of it. It's 10 fat turkeys, and if you this was a Scholastic book, and the turkey towels, I bought these at Walmart. Somebody popped a question in. So 10 fat turkeys. You can, if you don't have this book, you can always look it up on YouTube. But it's gobble, gobble, wibble, wobble, do a noodle dance. 10 fat turkeys fooling on a fence. And it's funny and it's rhyming and they all fall off in different ways. So you're counting back from 10 and then at the end they all get back on. So it's just a really fun, super silly book with counting. So it's great for one-on-one correspondence. So I just literally have some turkeys and I have the kids, I put these all up in a line on the board and just draw like a fence with my dry erase marker. And as we read the book, as the turkeys fall off the fence, I call on a kiddo and they take them down, or you can take them down. And then at the end, they pass their turkey to a friend who didn't get a turn, and they can put the turkeys all back up at the end. So it's a fun, informal subtraction book, and it's just so super silly, goofy, and it's a rhyming book too. Oh, and this is how I keep my retelling kits on my bookshelf. So if I have a book, like this one, has any kind of cards that go with it, I keep it in a baggie and just put it on the bookshelf. That way, when I pull it, the character cards or story cards or whatever cards are right there with it, so I don't have to go find them in another place, or I actually remember that I have them and I don't remake them again, or forget to use them, because that used to happen to me all the time. So I just keep them with the book. This one's fun, How to Catch a Turkey. It's just super fun. It's the whole, it's in this series, and it's so fun. And it's just they figure out different ways to try and catch the turkey, and they're chasing it all around the school. So it's a really fun book, which is also great for STEM. They can build a turkey hut. These are my STEM challenge cards. It's in the fall STEM I Can Build pack. So you can challenge them to build a turkey hut or an oven for Thanksgiving, or you can have them read this book and have them make a turkey trap. And I know turkeys are kind of, that animal isn't really anywhere like in a store, or they're super expensive. So this is just what I did. For when I do STEM challenges, I usually put this card or the book or whatever the challenge is on the table, and then I put like the building, there we go, the building material out kind of in the middle. And then this is what I did for my turkeys. Hold on, they're all stuck together. So I found some turkey stickers. I want to say these were in a Kinder Crate with my Kinder Crate subscription, and I will drop the link for that in a minute. So just a teacher fun subscription box. And I literally just put a turkey on a folded up piece of cardstock. So everybody has a little turkey, and you can tell I kept them all. And I just put a little turkey in front of each chair, and they can build the turkey hut with the blocks or whatever material that you decide to put out. They can build the little turkey hut, and they can put their little turkey in it. And it's just a fun, easy, cheap way to have turkeys, and you don't have to buy like a class set or a manipulative or a mini eraser or anything for your STEM challenge. And if you don't have turkey stickers, don't worry, just do like a Google image search and print, like cut and paste them in like Word or PowerPoint and just print a whole bunch of them small and then just literally fold it in half. So much fun. So that is a fun way to do a little turkey stem challenge. And again, these are in my fall stem I Can Build pack. That is that idea for you guys. Okay, I know you guys love big giant activities, so this is a big giant activity. So this, like some people call them butcher paper activities. Basically, they're just like a giant activity board, and it's just on the table. So I just took a big piece of white paper, and then I did the different colored feathers. And then you can put out whatever you want to sort. I have these button counters. These are chokeable. So if you have littler kids or who mouth things, these are probably not a good idea. So we put pom-poms out or anything that's like rainbow colors. You can put, you can do actual feathers. So you could put out like a tray of feathers and they can literally sort the feathers on, or they can do pom-poms, but just put something out that's a color. And then to sneak in literacy, and again, this whole activity is on my blog if you want like and I put a video of my kiddos doing it on Instagram today, so you can check out my story to kind of see them doing it in action a few years ago. I just put out some magnet letters, and then what they do is they can either sort the counter or the magnet letter, and if they pick a magnet letter, they have to say the letter name and the sound or a word that starts with it, or they can talk to a friend about it, and then they're just sorting these letters by color. Super fun, super easy, gets them up and moving, talking about letters, talking about colors. Again, any magnet letter or any magnet letter manipulative you have will work. And again, it's just a fun way to get letters in their hands. It's a tactile letter game, and it's just not a worksheet, so it gets them talking about letters, because we know they need tons and tons and tons of letter activities, so they can learn all of their letters. So that's one way you can do it, by color. And my kiddos loved it so much one year. We did it again the next day, but I didn't want to do it the same. So we did it with numbers. So then you can grab your magnet numbers or any kind of manipulative like connecting cubes, and they can put 4 connecting cubes on the number 4. I put out magnet numbers, I put out connecting cubes. I think I had counting cookies, like a manipulative. I put those out. If you so any kind of counting manipulative, you can put those out, and or like maybe you could put out like a thing of mini erasers, and they can count out 5 mini erasers and put them in a pile. So it'd be a whole bunch of different little piles of things, or like collections, and like these button counters stack. So you can put those out, and they can put out little stacks of counters. So that would be 3, and they could put 3 on there. So it's a fun way to get them counting and talking about numbers. And if you have littler kids, instead of doing it 1 to 10, you could just do 1 to 5. Or if you have itty bitties, you could do 1, 2, and then 3. Just big giant feathers. So yeah, so anything, you can make it harder as easy as you want. If you teach kinder, you could also do like addition problems, and then they could have to put that total out on there too. So tons and tons of different ways you can play that game. And again, since it's big, they are up and moving and walking around. And when we add movement, we have less behaviors because we're just engaging their whole body. So this is a fun one. I actually didn't finish this one because there are a couple different ways you could play this game. So again, it's just a big piece of paper. I just drew some turkey heads. So one thing you could do is just put out some dice, and they can roll the dice. I'm gonna put out just a stack of feathers over here. And maybe you have some feathers in the corner, and they roll a 3, and they put out 3 feathers on this turkey. And then they roll the dice again, and then maybe they get 2, and they put 2 feathers on this turkey. So it's kind of like a giant game board. If you're doing addition, you can have them roll 2 dice. 5 plus 2 is 7, and they have to put 7 on, so you can do this adding or counting. You could also, if you wanted to have them count and identify numbers, you could write the number, like write the number 5 on there, and they would have to put 5 feathers on. Write the number 7, they would have to put 7 feathers on. You could also do patterns, so you could like literally draw the feathers on there and start the pattern. I'll show you what I mean. So maybe, and if you don't have feathers, because I know sometimes feathers are easy to find and sometimes they're hard to find, or like around Thanksgiving, I swear they just feel expensive. You can just use cut up pipe cleaners. So maybe you want to work on patterns, so you could go blue, and then maybe this pattern is red, blue, and then they have to finish the pattern. And again, they can use pipe cleaners. You don't have to have a whole bunch of feathers for all the activities, and then they just finish making that pattern with the pipe cleaners. And you could really use this 2 days in a row. So the first day, you could put it out. You could have the heads with the dice, and they could roll the dice and put that many on, whether they're counting or adding. And then the next day, you could go back and add the feathers. And then you'll get 2 use tests out of it, and you can always keep them and use them the next year. So it's just a fun way to do patterns. Or if you wanted even another way, you could also put names on the turkeys. So like you could write like Casey and then put out magnet letters, and then they have to spell the friend's name with the magnet letters. So let's just say this says like Casey, C-A-S-E-Y. And they have to spell their friend's name with the magnet letters. Or you could do sight word little turkey. So you could put is, and then they have to put the I-S little magnet letters on there for feathers. You can make this kind of for any skill you want. So again, and it's fun, it's big, gets them up and moving and talking. So yeah, so fun. So there's another fun one for you guys. Just throwing all the things around me. Wait till if you would see my mess after I do Facebook Lives. I'm just like surrounded in a giant mess. So yeah. All right, so we're gonna just keep going. So here's a fine motor activity you could do, and you could make this. So this one, these are just some like styrofoam balls. Apparently I had them in sensory table because there's corn stuck to the bottom of them, and I just spray painted them like brown. I had some brown spray paint. You could probably also paint them with acrylic paint. So for this one, there can be various levels. So they can literally just stick the feathers in for a fun, fine motor activity. It's kind of like just making a big giant turkey. And I don't have any eyeballs on here or anything, but you could if you want to put some little googly eyeballs on. And again, I just got these from the dollar store, and I just cut a little bit off of the bottom just so they would kind of sit flat. Now, if you wanted to make this into a math game, again, super simple to do. Just add a dice, and they roll the dice. They got 2, and they put 2 feathers in their turkey. And they roll the dice again. Let's say I got 3, and I put in 3 feathers in my turkey. And they just keep playing until their little turkey is filled up. So, and for this, if you're using the styrofoam balls, try and use the feathers that have a like hard pointy end, because some feathers like these they're hard to stick in because the bottom is really bendy. So that would be frustrating. So if you're doing where you stick these guys in, just use a feather that has like a hard end on it. I want to say I'm like 99.9% sure these are from Michael's. So a little fine motor math activity there for you. All right, we're just gonna keep on going. Oh, and I forgot, I have a whole Thanksgiving, which I'll show this at the end. Thanksgiving Math and Literacy Centers pack. So if you want a ton of math and literacy printables games, just grab that. And then, oh, there it is. We're just gonna keep going with the feather theme. So, you have tons of feathers, right? So, oh my gosh, hold on. Gotta rearrange for a minute. Okay. needed a bigger space. Okay, so take a tray and put different feathers on. I have some giant feathers. I actually have used these. Some of these have paint on them because I used to use these to paint with for the art. And then I have these, these are the ones I just showed you on the other one. And then I have some small feathers. And if you don't have small feathers, you guys, literally cut some of these and just pull off the end. And then you'll have small feathers. So what they're gonna do is they're gonna sort these and measure these by size. So one way you can sort them, I'll do that one in a minute. So you can just make a super simple sorting board. I just did small, medium, and large, and they can't read, so I made the word small, small, medium, medium, and large, large. So they're just gonna sort those feathers by small, medium, and large. Now, that is super simple. So that's one way you could do it. You could also do it with colors. So they have to sort the feathers by color. And again, it doesn't have to be super fancy. Just write it on a piece of paper and you are ready to go. And they can sort and sort until their heart is happy. Now, if you want to have them practice measuring, what you can do is have them measure each of the feathers. So you can literally just have them measure the feathers. So put out the feathers and put out cubes, and they can literally just measure the feathers. So they would go like, this one is 3 big, and maybe this one is, we'll just pretend, this one is 5 big, or whatever number it is. Okay, so they could just do that. If you wanted to make it a little bit harder, what they could also do is measure it, and then they could put it on like a graph. So they would put these from short to tall. So as they're measuring them, they'll have to go in and say, oh, this one is a little bit shorter. And so they would have to put it in front of that one. And let's see, this one is a little bit taller. So I'm gonna have to put this one on this side because the tall ones go on this side. And they could, they're also gonna be talking about, some of them may be the same, so some of them may be like equal to, and you can have tons and tons of math vocabulary. So they're measuring, they're sorting by size, they're comparing lengths, and they're using all that vocabulary. This one is short, this one is tall, this one is equal to or the same. So tons and tons of math you guys can do with feathers. And you don't need to have a ton of them. Like, this is enough. Like, you don't have to have a tray that's like heaping full. So just a couple, yeah, and like you guys, I've had these feathers, literally I bought them my first year I taught. So these are like 15 years old, so I don't know where they came from. But like these I've had for like ever. I know they're at Michael's because I've had to buy them again because you slowly lose them, or at least I do. So yeah, and then I want to say these little guys are from a Kinder Crate again. But you can just, I know they have lots of little colored feathers at Michael's. Ooh, I just thought of another idea, which I will tell you in just a minute. So that is another fun thing you can do, is sort by color. And that's why I said the color unit is a fun unit to do for science during, if you're doing a turkey study, because you're talking so much about colors because of all of the different colors of the feathers. So keep going with the feather thing. You can also paint with feathers. Oops, that goes in there. So I just put a whole bunch in the little cups. I sometimes use these because they have lids for them, and then I don't have to like throw away all the paint. Like, and I can keep it for like the next day. I would usually keep the art activity like the same, or at least do it Monday and Tuesday, or I would do it, I taught at the last year, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. So I would have the same new art activity out for the whole week during open center time. So I would literally just put this in the middle of the table. And if they wanted to, they could come over and paint, or you could do this for a small group. But that's why I had the lid, so that way I could have them out the next day. And you can wash the feathers, but they probably won't last after this. Like the week you use them, you'll have to pitch them. But if you use the big ones, I've had them last for longer. So yeah, so they can just paint with the feathers, and it's just something different to paint with because they kind of slide across the paint. You can make wiggly lines. You can stamp with them. They can do whatever they want. You can put some in like the pokey side in, so then they can kind of write with them or just like scribble with them. And then sometimes it's fun to kind of, you can either do this while it's wet or dry. You can have some extra feathers and put like a number on it and say everybody gets 2. So that way they, you can remember, or maybe mom and dad or grandma and grandpa, whoever it goes home to, will know that they painted with feathers. And it's just a fun little, adds a little texture to the painting. So yeah, painting with feathers, it's so much fun. You can also do that for like a bird study, or if you're doing a pet, you're learning about pets, you can paint with feathers for that. Those themes too. And then I have a Play-Doh tray. So this is probably my kiddos, they always love Play-Doh trays. If you want to make brown Play-Doh, like a batch of homemade brown Play-Doh, my hack is to add chocolate pudding, like the dry mix. So add some like chocolate dry mix pudding, and it makes your Play-Doh this one. It smells delicious. So it'll make you want chocolate, but that's okay. So it'll make you hungry, but it turns this gorgeous color brown, because I don't really have luck making brown Play-Doh when I use brown liquid watercolor. So you can either buy it or you can make a homemade batch, but use the and you don't have to use much. Like put in like a tablespoon or 2, like not a ton, just enough to kind of add color to it. Or you can put it in the water. When you're mixing your Play-Doh, put the powdered pudding mix in the water, and then you'll kind of see like if you want more or less. So what they do is they literally just make little turkeys, and this is great for fine motor. And again, you can add a dice if you want. I put on Instagram today my kiddos' little turkey Play-Dohs that they made. It's so cute. And then I have these little, I just have little pieces of pipe cleaner, so they can use these as little legs. And if they want, they can bend them and make it into a little beak. And then little googly eyes. And some kids like to put the beads in there. And that way, if they want to do beads for feathers, they can do that. Or what's really fun is if they use the feathers to stick in there, and they just have a ball. This is probably one of their like top Play-Doh trays that they love, because it's just so fun. I had one little guy, he made like a turkey family. So he had like a mommy turkey and a daddy turkey, and then he had like some little baby turkeys. So, oh my gosh, like how cute is that? And then they have to take it all apart, and they have to sort it back and put it all back. They don't get to keep them. You can let your kids keep them if you want, but I usually have my kiddos put it all back in the tray. And I do have some turkey cookie cutters. I want to say I found these at Michael's one year. Probably just lucked out when I found them. So that is so fun. And again, you can add a dice. So once they make their turkey, they can roll the dice, and they have to put that many beads or that many feathers in. So another activity you can do with beads and feathers is lacing. So what they do is they take the feathers and they literally just lace the beads on there. And you can have them make patterns. They can just do it to do lacing. But it's just a really fun fine motor game. Great for hand-eye coordination. And the feather these are like the big ones I have. So it's stiff, so it's not wiggly like a string. So if your kiddos are just starting to lace, or maybe they don't like lacing because it always, like, they have trouble with the string and they fall off, well, look, these will not fall off unless they pull them off. So yeah, that's why this feather is so skinny. I probably used it for lacing another year. So yeah, so you can do beads with feathers. And that could be like a fun table time activity. Just have feathers out and then some piles of beads, and that would be a great fun like morning arrival like table time game to get everybody started with the day. So yeah. And then we have, if you own any of my stews, you can get out your turkey stew because this is so fun. So if you don't know about my stews, they are so much fun. So what it is, it's a counting game, and they have a recipe card, and each person usually gets their own pot and bowl, and then, or pot and spoon, sorry. And then they have to, oh, that one's gonna take me a long time, but they have to count out each thing. So I have bones, which they are Q-tips. So they have 2 bones and then 5 feathers. And obviously you would want them to count out. I always encourage my kiddos to count out 1, 2, 3. And that way they put it in their hand. Because sometimes I feel like if they're putting it in the bowl, like have you ever noticed they just keep counting? Like 3, 4, 5, and they just keep going. Because it actually is kind of a tricky skill. Like one day all of a sudden they'll keep counting rather than stopping at the number they need. So yeah, so having it in their hand, you can be like, oh my gosh, like your hand is really full of turkey legs. How many do you have? And they'll be like, oh, I don't know. And I'll be like, oh, remember you were supposed to have 3. Let's try again. Ready? Let's go. And I'll help you. Ready? 1, 2, 3. 3. I have 3 legs. 1, 2, 3. So that's a fun way to kind of practice that. And these little turkey legs, I just made with an orange pipe cleaner. Again, nothing super fancy. And then they have beaks, which is just some foam. And then they have bellies, which are just some pom-poms. So yeah, and then they mix. And then you can they put everything back, and then they pick another recipe card and play again. So, and there are 2 levels of recipe cards. So there's recipe cards that go up to 6, and then there's recipe cards that go up to 9 included. And then it comes with a label, so you can put everything in the bag and put it in there, and that way you can have it for next year. That's why it's so easy for me to pull out and show you guys. Excuse me. All right, so I want to show you another game real quick. So I'm going to actually make it while I'm talking to you. So I love using foam board for different things. So this one, I am going to cut some little turkey bodies. And again, you guys, the activities we do, they don't have to be perfect. They just have to be fun and engaging, because the kids will not know if it's perfect or not. If you are excited about it, they will be excited about it. And what you could do is glue on some eyeballs, and then glue on a little nose. And I'm just using it from my stew since I have it right here. And then I want to show you kind of like how I think up games, because people are always asking me like, how do you think up all of these games? So like these little turkey heads, kind of like the butcher paper activity or my shirt. What could we do with these? So one thing you could do is you could write numbers on the little beaks, and that way they would have to get out 5 feathers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then obviously you would glue all of this together. And that way you could have this year after year. You could also put addition problems on here if you teach kinder, like 1 + 1. You could also put letters on these little turkeys. And you could have a whole bunch of not a whole bunch of letter manipulatives out, but maybe maybe you made 5 of these or 6, and you just grab those magnet letters, and they have to put all the magnet letters with and match them up. So maybe this is L and P, whatever letters they're struggling with or they haven't learned yet, or whatever letters you're focused on this week. So yeah, so that's something fun you could do. You could also put this out, and you could also like glue some feathers to the back. And then what they would have to do is they would have to continue the pattern. So kind of like the butcher paper activity, but just in a different way, you could make it. So I just wanted to kind of show you guys just some ideas, since you guys always ask me like, how do you think of all of these things? And that's just kind of my thinking process. So yeah, you could make a ton of activities with these foams. And again, this foam is just from Michael's. And it's super cheap and durable. You can also write on the foam with Sharpie. So if you didn't want to buy other foam, it's kind of like felt, I think. So if you see like a felt game on Pinterest, you can always make it with foam, because I feel like felt, at least for me, I get annoyed because it doesn't cut as nice, but this is super easy to cut. So yeah, so you could use this just super super simple brown foam and do whatever you wanted with it. So kind of like the game I showed you. This is a game that is in my math and literacy centers. So there are some turkeys. And what this is, I just have a little sensory bin with corn. And they have to pick out the letter. Oh, sorry, I wasn't showing you guys. They have to pick out the letter and they have to sort it. So for a lot of kiddos, especially if you teach pre-K, if you would put out all of the letters, it would be super, super overwhelming. So just put out maybe 5 or 6 letters, and that way they only have a couple to work on. If you teach kinder, you could probably put more out, and that would be okay for them. It wouldn't be so overwhelming. So that way they can sort the uppercase and the lowercase, and then there are initial sounds too. Trying to find the one that you can see. So yeah, so that way they match those up. And again, just this is some corn. So again, just adding that little bit of sensory. And then what you can do is they put it back in and then they have to hide the little feathers for the next friend that plays the game. Just making it more hands-on. You can also put the letter manipulatives in here to match the cards you have out. So like I would grab like G, of course I can't find one, but we'll pretend this is a G, so you could put the actual magnet letters that match the cards in here too, so that way they have actual letters too to sort. So this again is in my Thanksgiving math and literacy center pack, which is, it's really just mostly like turkey. It's a lot of turkey. This is another fun letter game that's in that unit. They are just little letter puzzles. You can put it in like a little sensory bin. This one just has some beans and some peas. And then they are literally just matching the letters. So, oh, those don't match. And then like you'll have to find the match, which of course I can't find real quick. There we go. B and B. And they're just like little itty bitty letter puzzles. And again, you put out how many you think your students can handle in the bucket. Or in the sensory tub, or you can also play this game in a pocket chart and have the uppercase letters already up in the pocket chart and the rest of them kind of in a bin or a little like bowl or something right next to it. So yeah, that is again in my Thanksgiving Math and Literacy Center pack. I also have this little, I have shaped turkeys. So what they would do is, again, I have little feathers and they're going to match the feather. Oh, that is it for a different game. I'll put this one up here since you guys can see that one. And they have to match all of the feathers with the right turkey shape. And again, you could put out shape manipulatives too if you wanted for this, and you could do it that way too. But again, we're just matching shapes because turkey feathers are so much fun. And you can leave them out, or you can put them in a little mini sensory bin. It's totally up to you how you want to play it. Throw that in there. And then, oh, I forgot to tell you about the freebie. So on my blog, on the Thanksgiving post, there is this I am thankful for. And this is a freebie that's on the blog that you can use. Here's one a little guy filled out. It says, I am thankful for space. So he drew outer space in the belly, like just a black sky. So they can write they're thankful for whatever they want. And you can laminate it and they can take it home and use it as a placemat on Thanksgiving, or you could hang it up in your classroom, whatever you want to do. So that's a little turkey placemat freebie on the blog, and that's on the Thanksgiving activities post. And again, the link is at the top for you. So another little activity in this, and I'm going to show you a whole bunch of ways to use this one activity. So this is just a little I am thankful craft, and they get little feathers. And this is, and I always saw, this is my trick. So what I do is I always have some feathers pre-cut. And then I have some feathers not cut as I throw them on the ground. So I will let kids, or have kids, and I will also use the bounce back scissors or loop scissors or easy squeeze scissors, whatever you want to call them. So I put these out too, so that way maybe my 3-year-olds, they can still cut these out because they have these they literally spring back open. So that way they can do the cutting activity. So what they do is they cut out the turkey, they cut out the little turkey head, and then, I find brown cardstock, just so you know, at Michael's, they have like a whole pack of like shades of brown. So if you need brown cardstock and you can't find any, use shades of brown, or you can cut brown construction paper and use that as well. Just cut it to your paper size for your printer. So they cut out, maybe there are 3, and maybe they just cut out 1 feather, and they're like, oh, my hand is tired. And I'm like, it's fine, I have some, you can use some of my feathers. How many do you want, or what colors do you want? And they put some on there, and they glue them to the back, and some of them look like a sunshine, a turkey sunshine, and that's okay. They can make their turkey look however they want. So they cut out until they get tired, and then I always have backups for them to use when they are tired or they're getting frustrated, or maybe they're like being very meticulous and they've got 1 feather done, and we're just kind of out of time, because some kiddos, they have to have it like perfect, right? So they take a while to cut too. So then they use my feathers. So it's kind of a fun way. And I do this with my name crafts too. If you have any of my center packs on TPT and they have a name craft, that's what I do too. Anything that has parts, I have some cut out, I let them cut some out, and then I have extras ready to go for when their hand is tired. And then what they do is they draw things they're thankful for. This guy was a pre-K kiddo, so he put house, so we heard that last sound. Mom, his house, school, mom, house, and dad. So that's what he was thankful for. This was actually my little guy. That's what he wrote. If you have 3-year-olds, it's gonna be more scribbles. If you have pre-K, you're gonna start talking about those beginning sounds. If they are not there yet, you're gonna have random letters on there, and you can just write really tiny in the corner what each feather is. And then if you have kinders, they'll be able hopefully to start sounding that word out. So that's one way you can do it. Also, if you wanna make like the turkey headbands, which I will post a photo in the comments after we're done. So you can use these feathers and then just have them put the feathers on a satin strip, and then on the front, let me fold it so it makes sense. Oh, here, we'll just use this brown paper. And you can also cut, like if you have long brown paper, like the super long pieces, you can cut that. So what you can do is you can either you can cut out some circles, or you can put some googly eyes on there and put a little nose, and then they can glue their feathers on. So they're like little turkey headbands with the feathers they cut. And you can also have them make pattern turkey headbands to be really fun. But I will, what I did for mine is I have like a giant circle punch in here. We'll just pretend this is a giant circle punch. So I have a giant circle punch, and I just punched a whole bunch of white circles, and then I just drew little black eyeballs, or they drew little black eyeballs on them, and those were the eyeballs, and then I gave them little beaks, and then they had little turkey headbands. Oh my gosh, they were so cute. So you can use these a couple ways. And again, this is in the Thanksgiving Math and Literacy Centers pack. And then also in there is this turkey pattern game. So again, if you don't have feathers, you can have them use pipe cleaners, but what they're gonna do is basically just continue that pattern with the little pipe cleaners. And there's a whole bunch included, and there's also some naked turkeys, so that way they can make their own patterns too. So that game is included in the center pack. And then there's also a color by number little turkey. And there's a couple different levels to this. And then I also have the turkey 10 frames. And 1 year in my kinder crate, I got these turkey mini erasers, which I'll put the link again for the kinder crate at the bottom. I don't think they have them available anymore, but In my pack, it comes with little pumpkins. So if you don't have counters, I have counters for you. So what they do is they pick a number card, little turkeys, and then they put that many on it. And you can also use pom-poms if you don't have little, if you want them to use like a hands-on manipulative, pom-poms are perfect, or little gems. And then it comes in 2 levels. So there is a single 10 frame or there are 2 10 frames. So like for the for all of those teen numbers. What else was I thinking for you guys? Oh, I have one more set of activities to show you guys. And so this is so I have a fine motor set for each holiday. And this is the fine motor set for the Thanksgiving. So I wanted to kind of show you some of them that are turkey themed. So we got kind of a house. So these are for geo boards. So they use the little 5x5 geo boards, and then they use the rubber bands. And there is a word to trace at the bottom if they want, or you can have them finger trace. This is for Play-Doh. So they roll Play-Doh snakes or just pinch and like smush it on there. And they make some Play-Doh objects. Again, just fun, fine motor. Here are the pattern blocks. So they can make a pattern block turkey. Oh, I have one more idea I don't want to forget. Okay, I'm gonna put it right here to tell you about. That reminded me. And then there's also empty ones, so that way if this is too easy, there are empty ones so they can try and fill it in. They're kind of tricky. And then there's also cube blocks. So they would have to put the cube blocks on, and they can either lay them on their flat or they can connect them, up to you. And then there's pom-poms. So they use the little pom-poms to make all of the little different things. And again, these are perfect for table time in the morning. So they're so fun. So speaking of pattern blocks, this was the activity I wanted to show you. So let's say you made your little turkeys, right? So what you can do is get out, why did I grab that one? Which, I don't have any pattern blocks by me, but what you can do, where's the pattern block one? So what you can do is you can put out the pattern blocks, and they can make their turkey feathers with pattern blocks. So maybe they want to use red and blues, or maybe they want to use green ones or orange ones or whatever shapes. They can make like a big turkey set of feathers with pattern blocks just on these little foam turkeys. So these foam turkeys would be so great to use for so many little different activities too. So that was the activity I wanted to show you. That was the one I was on the tip of my tongue and I almost forgot about. So yeah. Oh, and then also you can see my little guy back here. In my social skills curriculum, I have a whole unit on being thankful and what that looks like. So this is an anchor chart that we did. This is included in it. And there's all the different things you can be thankful for, like your dentist and high fives and music, your clothes, doctors, books, sunshine. They can all also make their own, which would be really fun. So yeah, so this is in the social skills curriculum. Also, if you want to make a super cute bulletin board display, what you can do is draw like a giant feather, like on a big piece of white paper. Give everybody a feather. So, hold on one second. Oh my gosh, I can't reach. And it's stuck. Hold on. Okay. I meant to like take the picture of this. So what you do is you give everybody a feather, and then they can either, and this, you guys, again, doesn't have to be super fancy, and you can do so many things with these feathers. So on them, they can either, and if you, I'm sure you've seen this in Facebook groups, but you just make the turkey head and everything, and then you give everybody a feather. So that way by the end, you have a whole bunch of feathers. You can do a couple different things. You can just put out art materials, and they can just collage the whole feather. They can paint a pattern on it, and then you can have like a pattern turkey feather. You can have them draw and write all the things they're thankful for on there. They could do that. You can have them finger paint on the feather. Again, you can have them do whatever you want to make a big, gigantic turkey. for your board. And again, so just to kind of like help you visualize what it would look like. So big giant turkey, everybody would have a feather. So it'd be a cute, fun yet purposeful bulletin board, and easy, because it would be either art activity or math or writing or drawing, depending on what you wanted to do. And you can also do in your fine motor journals, you can do directed drawing turkeys. In your fine motor journals, you can talk about, oh, what shape is the turkey's head? Oh, it's a circle. Okay, everybody draw a circle. And then say, what does the turkey need? Oh, it needs eyes, and they can draw eyes. And you don't always, for directed drawings, you don't always have to have all the steps lined out. You can always talk through it, and you can draw your turkey as they're making theirs. And then, so they draw the head and draw the eyes and the beak and the little red, oh my gosh, I had a brain freeze. Gobbler or whatever it's called. You can draw that on there, and then they get to draw the feathers, and you can say, oh my gosh, what shape are our feathers? And you could say, oh, they're kind of like big ovals, and they go around and stop, around and stop. And you know what? Those ovals, they kind of look like bumps on the letter M. And then maybe on the back of their paper, they can make lowercase m's or n's. So yeah, so that's another fun idea for the fine motor journals. So I hope you guys got a ton of ideas tonight for your turkey theme, and I hope you love them. If you have any questions, pop your question in the comments, or you can always head over to the Pocket or Preschool Facebook group and look over there. If you are ever stuck and need an idea, or you're like, oh, my brain is just fried, like I need a pattern activity for things, turkeys, there is a search bar in the top of the Facebook group, and just type in like turkey or patterns, and a whole bunch of things that teachers have done in their classrooms that they've posted in the group will pop up. So as your brain gets tired, as the holidays kind of roll around and we get overwhelmed and tired and all the things, and behaviors probably increase around the holidays. So as your brain gets tired, use that Facebook group search bar to help you guys lesson plan too. And as well as my blog, you can always just type in turkey or whatever theme you're doing, and there's always like a book list and usually a blog post with a ton of ideas for each center. So yeah. Oh, and for dramatic play, what do you guys do? I would probably do home living, and you can make a turkey out of a paper bag. Would be really fun, and then the kids can pretend to have Thanksgiving in the home living or the house center. So add some of those fun fake Thanksgiving meals. So yeah. So I hope you guys have an amazing rest of the week. If you need any links, again, that's at the top. I will go through and answer questions for you that I didn't answer in the broadcast after we are done. So I will talk to you guys next week. See you soon, and have a great night.